Aesop's Fable. The Fox and the Grapes, another version. There was a clever fox who roamed the forest, always in search of food. One hot summer's day, as he wandered, he came upon a vineyard. This was no ordinary vineyard. It was renowned for producing the juiciest, most succulent grapes in the land. The fox had heard tales of these legendary grapes, and his mouth watered at the thought of tasting them. As he approached, he saw the grapevines, laden with plump, ripe grapes, hanging high above his reach. Undeterred, the fox leaped high, trying to snatch the tempting fruits, but they were too high. He tried again and again, leaping as high as he could, each time failing to grasp the grapes. With each attempt, his desire for the grapes grew, along with his frustration. Then, in a moment of quiet, the fox stopped and took a step back. He looked at the grapes, then at the vine, and then around him. He realized that direct leaps were not the solution. The fox began to gather stones and branches, piling them up carefully to create a makeshift platform. Finally, after some effort, he climbed atop his creation. Now closer to the grapes, the fox reached out and plucked not just one but several of the delectable fruits. He sat there on his pile of stones and branches, savoring the grapes, which were as delicious as he had imagined. The alternate version of The Fox and the Grapes teaches a different lesson from the original. Instead of concluding that the grapes are sour and giving up, this version of the fox demonstrates resourcefulness and perseverance. It shows that sometimes, when our goals seem out of reach, instead of giving up or belittling the goal, we can find creative and intelligent ways to achieve them. This story celebrates the virtues of ingenuity and determination in the pursuit of one's desires. Aesop's Fable, The Fox and the Stork. In a forest rich with life and laughter, there lived a fox and a stork who, despite their differences, had struck up an odd friendship. The fox was known for his cunning nature, while the stork was known for her long beak and serious demeanor. One day the fox, feeling mischievous, invited the stork to dinner. Wanting to play a trick on her, he served the meal in a shallow dish. The fox easily lapped up the soup with his tongue, but the stork, with her long beak, couldn't have any of it. She pecked at the dish in vain while the fox smirked at his clever trick. Embarrassed and hungry, the stork decided to teach the fox a lesson in manners. A few days later, she invited the fox to dinner in return. This time, she served the meal in a tall, narrow jar. The stork easily reached the food with her long beak, while the fox could only lick the outside of the jar. Realizing the tables were turned, the fox felt ashamed of his rudeness. The fox apologized for his earlier trick, and the stork forgave him, suggesting that they should treat each other with respect and kindness. From then on, the fox and the stork shared many meals, always ensuring that the food was served in a way both could enjoy. The story of The Fox and the Stork teaches an important lesson about consideration and respect for others. It illustrates the principle of treating others as you want to be treated. It also highlights that those who play unfair tricks on others can expect to be on the receiving end of similar behavior, emphasizing the importance of empathy and mutual respect in friendships. Aesop's Fable, The Goose that laid the golden eggs. In a quaint village there lived a poor farmer and his wife. One day their life changed when their goose laid a golden egg. Astonished, they carefully examined the egg and discovered it was pure gold. Elated by their good fortune, they sold the egg and used the money to provide for their needs. As days passed, the goose continued to lay one golden egg each day. The farmer and his wife grew rich, selling the eggs and enjoying the wealth they brought. However, with wealth came greed. The farmer and his wife became impatient and wanted more gold faster. One day, driven by greed and impatience, the farmer said, "If the goose lays golden eggs, its insides must be full of gold. Let's cut it open and get all the gold at once." His wife, blinded by greed, agreed to the foolish plan. They killed the goose, expecting to find a treasure inside. However, to their horror and regret, they found that the goose was just like any other on the inside. There were no golden eggs, no treasure, only the end of their good fortune. The realization of their foolishness dawned upon them. They mourned the loss of the goose and their greed that had led to this unfortunate end. They were left with nothing but regret and the memory of their lost opportunity. The fable of the goose that laid the golden eggs teaches the timeless lesson about the dangers of greed and impatience. It shows that those who desire more than they need and those who want it too quickly can end up losing everything. The story is a reminder to be content with what we have and to be patient, for greed often leads to loss and regret.